Welcome back, everybody, to Surviving the Badge. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about Ethan Crumbley from the Oxford High School shooting incident in Oxford, Michigan, I believe it was, correct?
Michigan.
So we're going to be talking about that and some other things and his parents and all. So stick around. It's going to be a great show, and let's get to it. Okay, John, go ahead and go over your beer moment.
All right, so tonight we're going to try a Frostproof from Cigar City Brewing. It's a Belgian-style white. Okay, a full-flavored yet delicate beer boasting orange peel and coriander additions to Belgian-style white base.
Frostproof, isn't that a city in Florida?
It is.
Yeah, I thought so.
That tastes like something else.
You know, some beers with that have coriander, I'm not a big fan of that, but that's got a nice.
The coriander is very smooth. It's not a sharp.
Right. Yeah.
I like it.
It tastes like, I would actually say it's kind of like a shock top with coriander.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's very reminiscent of that.
But it's very smooth.
I think that this is a beer that you definitely have to have ice cold. Like super cold, because if it even gets a little warm, it's got a little bit of an aftertaste.
Right,
That coriander.
it's like or like drinking warm orange juice.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Or brushing your teeth after.
Right. Yeah.
Or
God.
having orange juice after brushing your teeth.
So John, what do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 7.7.
All right, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. I like it.
I give it an 8. I like it a lot.
There you go.
And so tonight's beer is brought to us by Kenny's Groceries, correct? In Orange City, located at the intersection of 1792 and French Avenue. So go in there. They have a billion, I think it's actually a billion, different craft beers and anything you need. Kenny Grocery.
Awesome.
So before we go into fallen officer salute, Super Bowl's coming up, and I'm going to pose another bet. You know, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm going to bet Ronnie. I'm going to take the Bengals. I don't know anything about the Bengals, but I'm going to bet you a cigar again that I will take the Bengals. Are you going to give me points? Because the Rams are 4-point favorites.
I'm taking the Rams because Matthew Stafford, Georgia boy, plays for the Rams. That's the only reason I'm taking the Rams. Oh, and Sony Michel, who's the running back, also played for the Rams. I mean, for the Georgia Bulldogs. So I'm taking the Rams. And no, I'm not giving you any points.
All right, so straight up win-loss.
Straight up win-loss.
All right, so...
And he's 0 for 2, by the way.
I am 0 for 2, but, just like at Vegas, it's bound to pay off. So cigar on the Super Bowl.
Hold on. I just have a comment about this bet. And I'm not putting up any cigars, but you guys will both buy me 5 cigars each if my pick for the Super Bowl wins.
Is it the Giants?
No. My money is, on the day after the Super Bowl, Stacey Abrams will come out and announce that she won the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Stacey Abrams for the Super Bowl.
No,
Super Bowl champion.
Sucker bet. Because
All
you're
right.
absolutely that's gonna totally come true.
Not happening.
So, on to a more serious note, our fallen officer salute this year. 2022, there's been 33 police officers killed in the line of duty, 11 of which were vehicle crashes. We always stress the fact that vehicle crashes or vehicle-related deaths are huge. 6 gunfire, 1 which was accidental, and then 16 COVID-related deaths. And the most recent death, there was a ladder in the middle of the road, and the officer pulled over to get it out of the road and got struck by a vehicle, and very tragic.
So how about, and I'm going to mention something on this, and it's going to be in Ronnie's Rants. So look for Ronnie's Rants, because it's definitely going to be on there with part of the video.
Will that be on YouTube, Instagram, We are now on TikTok. We are old men using a young platform.
No, it's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be a short on YouTube, so it'll be about 2 minutes long, max. But this TikToker named Vinyl Boobs got on and started ranting about the New York City Police Department closing down, I think it's 3rd Avenue,
For a funeral.
to line up all of their cars and cops and everything else, saying, well, if someone gets, has a heart attack or something, the rescue units are not going to be able to get there. This is fucking ridiculous. That's exactly what she said.
Yeah.
So what she didn't do was turn around and look at all the goddamn ambulances that were staged along that street, ready to respond to any emergency that was needed, either in the residences that were there or in the crowd. So fuck her, and fuck her little rant about just another cop died, is what she said.
And she also said probably was killed doing something wrong.
Wrong, yes.
They're killing kids 22 and younger every day. So yes, I'm looking forward to Ronnie's rants.
Oh,
Check it
it's-
out. Look for it. Ronnie's rants.
And I will tell you, I'll warn you ahead of time, the language is going to be bad, because I was so mad the other day when I saw this. I threw my phone down and I was screaming. So yeah, I was pretty mad.
She was fired, so that's good.
She was fired by the production company or film company or whatever that she worked for.
So that allows us to give you guys information. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Instagram, and TikTok. So check us out. Before John, you take over, I found
Right here
this.
on the bottom of your screen.
I found this interesting. Some very famous serial killers were born in February. This is February. And Gary Ridgway was born February 18th. 48 murders. Suspected of more. Eileen Warnes, one of our own. Does that sound right? One of our own? Anyway.
That sounds a little sick.
Maybe one of your own.
February 29th, 7 murders. Richard Ramirez, February 29th, also born in this. I don't think it was the same. Ramirez, I think, is older than Warnos, but
Yeah.
it was the same day of February 29th, which is not a leap year.
Yes.
It is.
I just noticed that.
I just realized that too.
So Eileen Warnos and Richard Ramirez were born on February 29th, which is a leap year. And Ramirez was responsible for 13 murders. So technically, they were only like 6 years old.
Right.
Yeah,
So ladies,
So
if,
they
if-
should not have gone to prison.
right.
so ladies, if you're going to have a baby and it looks like it's going to be on leap year on February 29th, maybe close your legs for an hour or two until it freaking changes to March 1st.
So we've got some classic surviving the badge
closer.
stickers that we're
There
giving
they are.
out. The trivia question today is Gary Ridgway. What was his serial killer name? Gary Ridgway. So answer in the bottom in the comment section of YouTube. What was Gary Ridgway's serial killer name? You
I
can't win.
Oh,
No.
come on, man.
All right, John, take it.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about Ethan Crumbley. He was a 15-year-old. On November 30th of 2021, he shot and killed 4, injured 7 at the Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan. He has been charged with 1 count of terrorism, 4 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of assault with intent to murder, and 12 counts of possession of a firearm.
He's on your screen now.
It was just recently announced that his counsel, lawyers, plan to seek they seek to plea insanity in this case. Do you think that's a valid issue,
No.
pleading insanity?
Well, because if you
Well, if you look at his picture, it might be.
Well, yeah.
so understand, and our audience needs to understand this. Crazy is different from insanity. Like John Wayne Gacy burying 34 boys in his basement. Damn, that's fucking crazy. But it's not insanity because he buried them to hide the bodies. And if we look at the McNaughton rule, which is for the most part what insanity looks at, they look at, does the individual have a diseased mind? Maybe. Do they understand the difference between right and wrong? And do they understand the consequences of their action? And that's what it looks
And
like.
Gacy did, which is why he hid the bodies.
Absolutely.
To hide his crime, because he knew if they found him, He was going to prison.
Right, and he didn't kill these boys in the center of the street where everybody's watching.
Right.
That would be crazy. That would
Lured
be
him
insane.
into the house and blah, 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 yes.
So it depends on what they can prove if he knew right from wrong. And I don't. The insanity defense, a lot of people throw it out, but it's very seldom effective or actually followed through with or
Valid.
Well, I
Valid.
mean, well, because here's my contention, and it's not a true legal, and there's no
John, you're our legal
back-
scholar.
there's no background to this that other than just my opinion. If you actually kill someone, at that moment you are probably insane. At that moment, not insane.
There's a temporary
textbook,
insanity, right?
but not in the textbook thing. But you are suffering a delusion, not a delusion, but there is something wrong with your brain. That you would
Now, kill somebody
someone.
or murder somebody. 'Cause
Murder
it's
somebody.
Yeah,
Murder
'cause,
somebody.
I mean, we've
Kill
got
somebody.
war, we've got revenge.
Right.
yeah.
Kill somebody. The fact that you can make the decision to take someone's life who is not a threat to yours. I'll put it that way.
Right.
You just make that decision. I'm going to kill that person. I believe there is some mental imbalance there.
Right.
Be it a domestic violence situation, be it a serial killer, be it a spree killer, be it an intentional auto accident, crash. I'm getting, road rage incident.
Right.
Your mind is not in the right place.
Yeah.
But that does not make you insane.
Yeah, it doesn't rise to the level of not guilty by reason of insanity.
Right.
Right.
It's a temporary losing of the mind. I guess I get that, but a total insane person is pretty rare. I mean, there's a lot of insane people out there. People suffer from schizophrenia. Oh gosh, this is going to sound so insensitive. You know the schizophrenic joke, right? Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm a schizophrenic, and so am I.
Oh,
Well, we just got canceled.
but
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
thanks.
John. I'm going to be quiet now.
John and I do not support that, even though it was funnier than shit.
Wow. Wow, maybe we can get canceled like Joe Rogan.
Right. Hey.
So before we roll on to, since we've showed this young man's picture, I want to give praise to a young man that was involved in this incident. And we had his picture on another show, a previous episode that we talked about this young man. And I actually have his picture, we have his picture as the thumbnail for the episode.
And we
his name-
dedicated the whole show for it, too.
Right, and his name is Tate Myre. Tate Myre was a young man that went to this high school. He played football, and when all this shooting and everything was going on, Tate jumped in and tried to take this guy down, this kid down, to save everyone, and he ended up getting shot and killed. So, to Tate Myre,
Absolutely.
right here,
Yep.
he has my absolute, and we'll do it again. We did it on another show, we'll do it again.
And I teach at a high school. And you think, well, these high schoolers they're all, one-dimensional, they're all narcissistic and
Right.
and selfish, and this kid gave his own life to
Gave his
protect
own life, absolutely.
to
So,
protect those other
thank
kids.
you, Tate. You exemplify what a hero is
Absolutely.
by every definition of that word. All right, go ahead, brother.
Okay. So, not only has Ethan Crumbley been charged with those charges that I previously mentioned, his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley, they have now been charged by the Oakland County prosecutor, Karen McDonald, with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. And just so you know, they were fugitives for a short while, and they were found in near Detroit, Michigan, after a short manhunt.
And for our podcast listeners, and I know you can't see their picture, but if you get a chance to jump on YouTube, or look them up or whatever, their picture is now on the screen. A couple of real winners. And I laughed when I looked up the court case because they had been admonished for blowing kisses and saying "I love you," whispering it in the courtroom while they were in there, and the judge said that will cease and desist immediately while you're in this
I
courtroom.
love when judges
So,
just kick ass.
yeah, it was pretty cool.
I I pulled a John. I know, right? Guess what I pulled up? The Michigan state statute for manslaughter.
Wow.
Right?
Thank you, because I meant to do it and I forgot to. So I'm glad you had that with me.
Would you like my notes?
Absolutely.
On
Well, just read what it is.
Okay, so why those parents were charged with manslaughter?
Well, do
And-
you want to describe it now or tell you the backstory and then say,
Well,
does it fit?
I don't know. It's your episode. What?
You know what? Let's tell a little bit of the backstory and then we can say, does it fit?
Okay.
And would we charge it?
Perfect.
Okay. So, on November 30th, the day of the incident, his parents were brought in to meet with the school guidance counselor over his behavior and things that were observed at school, including some concerning drawings. Nobody saw that. Sorry. Some concerning drawings on his math worksheet. I don't believe it's been disclosed exactly what those drawings were. So anyway, both parents were in a meeting with the school guidance counselor who said if Ethan does not get counseling within 48 hours, they're going to call CPS.
Child
You know,
Protective Services.
Child Protective
So
Services.
can I speak to that just a minute? So as a high school teacher, 2 years ago, I had a student who wrote on a test, and it was a relatively easy. It's a test, and she writes in the little, she gets it wrong, and she writes a little box on the test. I can't believe I got this question wrong. I'm going to go jump off a bridge. As a mandatory reporter,
I remember you telling us
as a
that,
mandatory
yeah.
reporter, I contacted guidance. I'm like, I thought, knowing the student, I know she was just being flippant and funny. Hey,
But as soon as you didn't,
right, absolutely,
Splat.
right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
and they called her in, and she's like, oh my god, I didn't realize, and everything was fine. But as a teacher, you gotta report that kind of stuff, even
Right.
if it's minor.
But here's where my concern lies with the school. And we're going to kind of talk about the school at the end of the thing. But you said you're a mandatory reporter.
Yeah.
Most teachers are in most states. I do not know about the laws in Michigan.
Right. Okay.
About mandatory reporting and things like that. However, I don't know if a teacher sees a concern that this child is a danger to himself or others, and this is Florida version of what the mandatory reporting would be, they're required and can be charged with a crime if they don't, they're required to notify law enforcement. So for the counselor to say you have 48 hours
Oh, right.
to do something,
Or I'll call.
Or I'm gonna notify someone.
You're pushing off your
responsibility. You can't.
Because I have had students come to me and say, hey, Mr. Long, XYZ is happening to me at home. And I call 1-800-96-APPEALS.
Yep. That's Florida
I have
CPS.
to. Yeah, I have to.
Absolutely.
Right.
I don't know whatever happens, but
Now,
that's
CPS
that's a check in the box that I have to
and
do.
in Florida, you don't have to call law enforcement, you have to call Child Protective Services or Adult Protective Services, depending on
DCF.
Right.
But basically what you have to do is you have to notify someone. So the guidance counselor saw something that concerned them to the point where they're like, we're gonna have to call CPS if something doesn't change, but maybe something
Seems like
was,
a cop out.
Yeah, it seems like it was already at that point where they should have called.
Right.
Okay, so they had the meeting with CPS, or with the guidance counselor. The parents have a meeting with the guidance counselor. They're gonna call CPS if Ethan doesn't go to counselor for 48 hours. Okay, apparently.
In 48 hours?
If Ethan does not see a counselor,
Okay.
not a guidance counselor, but a
No, I know.
mental health
Mental health
counselor.
counsel, yeah.
Within 48 hours, they're gonna call CPS.
Right.
Apparently, the school requested or suggested, I'm not sure exactly how, some of this is still kind of gray, that the parents take Ethan from school that day.
Okay.
And the parents said, no, we're not gonna take him home.
Which seems odd.
Seems very odd,
Right.
because number one, if that was my child,
Okay.
you know, I'm going to go take that child and take them
Let's-
immediately to do something with
Let's
them.
take this serious.
Right. Either take it serious or at least attempt to punish them for acting like a knucklehead.
And find out what the hell is going
But,
on.
well, I mean, I would obviously take them to get help, but even if you think there's not a concern here.
You're nicer than me.
No, I'm saying.
I took him home, put my foot right in his ass.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I don't think they're actually a threat to themselves or
Right.
others, they're just being an idiot, then foot meets rectum.
Right. Yeah, but the bare minimum is you take them out and you say, what the F?
Right. We're gonna have, you know,
Son, what is going
You know,
on here?
as
Let's have a conversation.
well,
please.
as Ronnie used to have many times with many a rookie, he had a come to Jesus meeting.
Yes,
You know, and there would be a
absolutely.
come to Jesus meeting. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the parents refused to take him home that day.
Which is a bad sign in the first.
Yes. Now, again, even worse, the school guidance counselor, obviously the school guidance counselor didn't see all the things that were brought to, her attention, or his or her attention. I don't know if the counselor was a male or a female, but
Right.
so
Their attention.
their attention, but
Hard
that's
to
inappropriate.
say, yeah.
Z or Zer? Zim?
Have we discussed our pronouns?
Yes, we don't know our pronouns. But, so the guidance counselor didn't witness any of the incidents, didn't witness, they saw afterwards the markings on the worksheet and all that stuff. But nobody felt it was important to contact law enforcement. It's like, okay, we call the parents. Parents don't want to do anything about it, and they're going to leave them in school.
Now, I don't know, because I could see at my school, because we have a school resource deputy. I could see us, and I don't, I'm not a guidance counselor, wouldn't ever want to be, but logically, I could imagine one of our guidance counselors saying, "Hey, deputy, XYZ,
Yeah,
just
this
to
is
let
what's
you
going
know."
on.
Right.
Well-
Put you in the loop.
Parents
Apparently-
have refused to take him home.
Right.
Well,
This is what's happened.
And apparently the school had one or two, we're not sure, private security officers on campus that day.
Michigan's different than
And,
Florida,
and
obviously.
I don't
Yep.
know, and I don't know if they were armed or unarmed or anything like
Right.
that. But
Rent-a-cops.
but, okay, guidance counselor says, you know what? If you don't get them to see a counselor in 48 hours, I'm gonna call CPS.
So
Because it's so concerned,
are you thinking that she didn't,
she or he,
they did not think that it was as bad as it ultimately was? Because obviously, 99% of the times, it's not as bad as we think it, or sometimes turns out to be.
yeah, but as they usually say, you have to do your due diligence. And so I would have said, hey, we've got one or two school security officers on site. Hey, follow that son of a bitch.
Right.
Follow
Yeah.
him everywhere he goes. They didn't do
Sure.
that.
Or why don't we just keep you in the front office until the end of school?
Right.
Yep. Keep it right
Okay.
here where we can watch your ass.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's
You
only
know,
a few hours.
But if you're gonna say go back to class and he ends up going into the bathroom, which he did, ends out coming up, shooting.
So he had a gun
He had
that
a gun.
day.
He had a gun with him. Okay,
In
because
the backpack
in
or
the
wherever,
backpack,
yeah.
and because now we're gonna get into the parents and why they're charged with a crime.
Okay.
Okay, so the parents, well, they claim that there is evidence on his phone that he searched for school shootings and guns, and he practiced making Molotov cocktails and was obsessed with Nazi paraphernalia and things like that.
Can I mention something along those lines? I was
Yes.
reading through this, and apparently there was a videotape of him torturing animals and then making Molotov cocktails.
And his parents saw this video?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Well,
about that.
and that's, we can't verify, that was more for, this is evidence they plan to present with his case.
So with that being said, torturing animals, Molotov cocktails. There's a thing in this world of criminal justice called the McDonald Triad, and it's kind of gone out of favor. But what they look at is there's three things that
That's
are
because their ice cream machine never works.
It's always broke.
always.
It's always broke. They can't get a McFlurry, so that's why it's fallen out of favor.
So, this McDonald Triad looks at, and it looks like past serial killers.
We got a hashtag
and-
Wendy's in this, by the
Right?
way.
And there are three things that usually fall within these serial killers: animal abuse, arson, and, well, the third one is, it's called enuresis, which is late-term bedwetting. Like when, kids, they grow out of bedwetting at, I don't know, whatever age they grow out of, but when you
And
have...
depending on how long you last, you grow into bedwetting.
Right, yeah. But they look at this, and he's 2 out of 3 right there.
Yeah.
That's what they make diapers for.
Yeah, he's got the animal abuse.
Hey, what do
and
old
the-
people smell like? Depends.
So why were the parents charged?
Okay, so the parents were charged because, hey, this kid is so wonderful. He's been such a good boy all year. What are we going to do for Christmas? We're going to give him a gun.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa,
So-
hold on a second. Hold on. I've given my kids guns for Christmas also.
I'm not saying
So let's not automatically
No.
say that guns for Christmas is a bad thing.
What I'm saying is, this kid had, and we're going to get into that. There is evidence that he had texted his mother that he was having hallucinations.
Right.
Okay, he had a notebook with all these Nazi, symbols and memorabilia and all that
There
stuff.
were definitely blaring
There were
signs
exactly
that there were issues going on.
exactly.
And I would not have given my kids
Okay.
anything if I had
And-
known, if I knew there was anything
and-
going on.
In Michigan, there is no law. You can give a person under 16 a handgun or a weapon. However, if I'm going to give my child, and yes, he's 15, but he's still a child,
Yes.
I'm going to give him a gun. I'm going to make sure that I am responsible with that gun. Just like when I gave my kids a cell phone.
Right.
Hey, it's my cell phone, not yours. I can check it anytime I want. I can do whatever. It's mine until you're 18.
And just to be clear, I did not give my kids handguns.
Right.
They were 22 rifles,
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh, sure, you can't kill anybody with those.
No, I'm just saying it's not a handgun that I gave them. I gave my daughter a handgun at 18.
A little harder to get
But it
a
was-
22 rifle into school
Right.
than a friggin' 38.
Yeah,
you know?
no,
Okay, so based on the evidence, and there's also, I'm sure, school guidance counselor conferences and letters home from the school and all that stuff, where the parents should have been aware of his mental status. I'll put it that way: his mental status, giving him a gun, and not making sure that gun was safely
Security.
kept, because, okay, here, this is your gun, but you're only allowed to have it when you're with me, type thing. And
Yeah, we kept our rifles in the safe.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so based on all of that, that's why the parents were charged, okay? And then, so let's go into...
Let me ask you a question. So, I had a meeting with, and because I didn't read as much as you. Had a meeting with guidance. Parents said, "I'm not coming." He goes.
No, they went, they're not taking them home.
Not. That's the same day of the shooting.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So they said, "We're not taking him home." He goes to the bathroom, and then the shooting happens. It's not like days later.
Correct.
Okay.
So, the argument is, they probably, based on the meeting with the counselors, they should have said, oh shit, does he have the gun here now?
They should totally have thought that.
But they didn't. They said, no, we're not taking him home. And they didn't even say, they could have asked him, do you have the gun? Apparently it was not asked in the meeting. I'm sure the parents haven't disclosed whether they asked him privately or anything like that.
Right.
Because they probably haven't talked to anyone. But
All right, so you asked me about the charges.
Yes.
Like I said, I pulled up the, because I wanted to be prepared. This is I pulled it off the Michigan legislature, and it's elements of manslaughter, because they were charged with involuntary manslaughter.
involuntary
They-
manslaughter.
And just for you guys, so you got murder, which you intend to kill somebody. Second degree murder, well, first degree murder, you intend to kill somebody and you plan it. Second degree, you intend to kill somebody, but it's like spontaneous. And manslaughter is more of
Is there a third degree, or is it just manslaughter?
it depends. I think it depends on the state,
Okay.
because Florida
In
doesn't
Florida,
have
it's manslaughter.
Yeah, it's manslaughter.
No, we don't
So
have
if
You intend to do the act but not kill.
well, so and I give my students this, because in my classroom I have an old bulletproof vest, and I say, let's say, John, you say, hey, Ronnie, I've got this old bulletproof vest. I bet it still works. Let's try it out. You put it on, and I'll shoot you. And let's say, John, he shoots you, and it goes through you and kills you.
Right. So I knew it was a dangerous act. I knew that something may happen, but I didn't want for it to happen, and I didn't know that it would happen, but it happened due to my ignorance and my negligence and
Yep.
my stupid act.
Yeah.
So an Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There we go. And if you guys want to watch the Alec Baldwin video, just check it out. It's awesome. So that's manslaughter. It's a really stupid act that resulted in a death. So the elements and I'm going to just we have to deal with that. There is a death of a person.
Hold on
but
one
the
second.
one,
Hold on one second.
Yeah.
So to give it a more simple example of manslaughter, you're driving down the road and you're drunk. And you know that you probably shouldn't be driving because you've been drinking. Get on the road, you hit somebody and you kill them. DUI, manslaughter, because of your actions, knowing that you shouldn't have driven. No, you didn't mean to kill anybody. You didn't want to kill anybody, but you killed someone due to your negligence and your
You knew
ignorance.
you were doing a dangerous act.
Absolutely.
I think that's the key
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
It has to be you
Right.
knew you were doing a dangerous or lethal act.
Yep. All right.
So I highlighted the area that actually, if I think this is what they're going on with the parents, created a situation where the risk of great bodily harm or death was very high, knowing that as a result of the defendant's actions, he or she knew that serious harm or death would likely result.
I don't think they're going to get a conviction on this, and here's why.
Okay.
Because when they bought him the gun, it's very easy for them to say, well, how in the hell are we supposed to know that he was going to take that gun and go kill someone? Yeah, okay, he had some hallucinations, but he never showed us any violent tendencies that we were aware of, and therefore, we bought our son a gun.
Right.
He was supposed to keep it at home, he was supposed to keep it there, blah, blah, blah. I think it's going to be do I think they should be? Absolutely, they should be. Do I think they're going to be able to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? And unless they have a really good jury, I don't think they're going to convict them of this.
And see,
Maybe negligence, criminal negligence, maybe, but I don't think it's going to rise to manslaughter. I just don't.
LT, I disagree with you because
That's why we're here.
right, they are the adults. They gave a dangerous, potentially dangerous weapon to this individual. They are ultimately responsible for the safety and security of that weapon. And they didn't do that. They gave it to this child. It was like, whatever. They did not go above and beyond to make sure that that weapon was secure
How
and
do we
safe.
know that? We don't.
He got it.
But we don't.
Now,
I mean,
if
he could be in a safe. It could be in a, hold on. It could be in a safe.
Why do I have to hold on? I never have to hold on. I always get interrupted. Okay, my question is going to be, is there a difference between giving them a gun or giving them a car?
Yes.
Why?
Because a gun is a deliberate act. Now, if he had mowed people down deliberately, yes. But he didn't mow people down in a car deliberately. He actually went and shot people deliberately using the weapon that they gave him and they did not secure. That we know of. It'll come out in the trial. Because you're right. If they said, listen, we had it in a safe and he pried it open with a crowbar, okay. I grant you that.
They're giving their.
But
Gold.
if it's not, if it's like, here's your gun, son. Make sure you don't take it to school, whatever. But hey,
Well, based on what I've read and what I know of the case, I don't think they're going to have enough to prosecute him. Now, more will come out. If they gave it to him and he was able to keep it in his bedroom and he had free and absolute access to it anytime he wanted and ammunition and everything else, well, then fuck them, they're dead.
And
They're
I
dead.
Are we
think
betting?
that's all available.
No, I'm not betting.
I think that's all available because in this new tech age, he's got all sorts of videos posted of him with the gun. I believe, I know they said there were text messages of him texting his parents saying, I'm having hallucinations.
and they did nothing.
I'm sure he's not saying I'm having hallucinations. There might be an apparition in the house. What he's saying is there are ghosts here, or
They should have picked up on it.
Right, they should have picked up. So when you put all of that stuff in there,
So, what do you think? Because Ronnie thinks they're not going to be found guilty. I think they're going to be found guilty.
I think that they're going to be found guilty.
Ha! Lieutenant, you suck.
Why do I suck?
I don't know.
So anyway, I just want to get a couple of things in because Sheriff Bouchard, Oakland County Sheriff, he had a couple of statements that I really appreciated. Well, statements and points. Okay, because one was, he was asked by a reporter, right after the incident, shortly after the incident, do we need to have tougher gun laws? Because it's all about, we need
always
tougher
about
gun
guns,
laws
right.
and we need to take away guns from people.
Right.
And his response was basically, no, we need to enforce the gun laws that we have. And prosecutors have to prosecute them.
Would that go back to your episode
Yes.
2 weeks ago?
Alvin Bragg, well, even if you use a gun, if you don't shoot someone, it's still going to be a misdemeanor. Well, son of a bitch. I thought we had a problem with guns.
So if this kid was in, Bragg was where? Is New York?
New York, Manhattan.
If this kid
Manhattan.
went into the school and just threatened a bunch of students,
Right, it's a misdemeanor.
it's misdemeanor.
Yeah. Okay, and the other thing that happened was, and this is again referencing the DAs, because the prosecutor, DA, Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald, said that, after the shooting, fairly shortly after the shooting, she said, she was looking at charging the parents. Okay, and they decided, I guess they went through a grand jury. The grand jury indicted the parents, issued a warrant, and the parents went on the run. They sold their horses, they withdrew a ton of cash, not a ton, but a couple of $1,000s. They bought a bunch of burner phones and all that stuff. So
they knew they were in the wrong.
Yeah, they went on the lam,
Right.
okay, which is also sometimes usable in cases. But he was concerned, that, again, they asked the sheriff, how did they get out of here? He's like, well, because the prosecutor didn't tell us they were looking at him.
Right.
We
go after people, yeah.
They said, yes, we're looking into that, but they didn't say, hey, sheriff, we've got a good case, we think we're gonna have to.
Pick 'em up.
No, not even pick them up, just watch them.
Right.
They never said, because every time, every major crime you have a situation where, it's like, well, we're looking for other parties that may be involved, co-conspirators, and certainly we're gonna look at the family and see if they had anything to do with it. Okay, but that doesn't normally become a charge, because a lot of times people act on their own. But, this time they're like, no, we're gonna charge them.
And I think they should.
I do too. But prosecutors, you've got to work with law enforcement, and vice versa.
Yeah, you got to communicate. You got to
have that communication. Don't turn
So,
around and say.
do you think that the insanity defense will work with the kid? I mean,
No.
he mentioned seeing visions and things like that.
No.
This kid obviously has issues.
No.
LT?
What? I'm sorry.
Oh, do you think that the insanity defense is going to work for the kid? I mean, mentioned,
No,
no?
no, I don't think it is. On the screen, I've got a picture of the Oxford High School. This is where the incident took place. I thought I had posted it earlier, but I don't think I did. But that is where this incident took place.
All right, so how do you think this ends, John?
I think he gets convicted on all counts. Parents get convicted on all counts. And whereas going forward before, the school will be held, the school and school board will be held in, civilly liable because there are numerous cases being filed against the school for failing to do their job.
LT?
No, I don't think he gets. Yes, I think he gets convicted, but I don't think that. I don't think the insanity plea is going to hold up.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the insanity because visions and we have to look at his background. Was there previous and prior issues with having some mental disorder? So I'm iffy about that, but I think the parents are definitely going to be convicted of involuntary manslaughter.
All right, good deal.
All right.
Well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Make sure that you tune in on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you like to get your podcast, because we're available on many venues for that. We're also on YouTube, where you can actually watch these three knuckleheads go at it and talk about these episodes.
Wait, 2 knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And an idiot.
And we're on Facebook, and our shows are not there, but you can comment, you can send us messages on Facebook. We also have an email, retiredcopsrule
Yes, they do.
at Gmail. And you can send us an email with future show topics or any information that you want to pass on to us. And that is how you are going to answer the question that Camille posed at the beginning of the show. What was...
Gary Ridgway's serial killer name.
Yeah, what did they call him during the investigation? What was he nicknamed? Or what was that whole thing nicknamed? If you send us either an email or a comment down below on YouTube, we will pick a winner out of the comments randomly.
Subscriber? No.
And you must be a subscriber to win. If you're not a subscriber, I'm sorry, but that helps us out if you like and subscribe. So only subscribers can enter the contest. So we appreciate it.
John said that if you're not subscribing, you're kind of lame. So just saying.
And we're going to send you one of those. It's a very nice vinyl sticker. So thanks, everyone. And just remember, at Surviving the Badge, we still got your 6. There we go.